This so let's start with today's lecture. We'll start with inverters. Our next topic of module 3 is inverters. Now, inverters, since we have studied DC to DC converters, understood this quadrant of operation, now we can understand inverter by linking those things over here also. Very easy. If you have understood those things, how my switch was on and then my circuit operated, then in understanding inverter is very easy for you. So what is basically a inverter? Okay, DC to DC converter, as from your name you can understand your it is converting DC to DC. That means it is converting fixed DC to variable DC. Now what does an inverter do? One second. Okay. What does an inverter do? It will convert your DC power to AC power. Okay. At some desired output and frequency. Your output, which is obtained, which is AC, it can be of fixed or variable frequency. It can be changed according to a need. Generally, variable frequency is only obtained. I will not tell fixed frequency, but the AC output is always variable frequency. So you are converting DC to AC at variable frequency. How this conversion is done about? Like to mic off for Rajesh. How this conversion is brought about? Again, we are applying some switches. What are the switches? We are applying power electronic switches. We can apply BJT, MOSFET, IGBT or thyristor. Now, since you are converting DC to AC, like last day I have told you a small word I have used, commutation, and explained why commutation was used, because supply is DC. In case of AC supply, automatically there will be negative voltage across the thyristor and thyristor will be off. But in case of this inverter and DC to DC converter, all are fed from DC power. So you have to switch off the thyristor by different means. That is called as force commutation. And BJT and MOSFET, IGBT are all turned on by pulses. If you give a pulse, then it is on. If you remove your pulse, then it is off. There is no problem of BJT, MOSFET and IGBT. So that's why we have turn on and turn off device, BJT, MOSFET, IGBT, or by force commutated thyristor, depending upon the application what they are used. And in the first class, we had discussed the power and frequency ratings of all the switches. We had seen that, if you recall the facts, BJT, MOSFET, and IGBT was operated at low voltage but high frequency, and thyristors was high voltage and low frequency. So for low and medium power output, you need BJT, MOSFET, IGBT. For high power application, thyristors are used. Now, how you are getting variable frequency? Obviously, there is a switch. You can control the turn on and off period by giving the gate pulse to the switches. That means how you control the switching frequency of the switches will control the output of the inverter. So actually the output of the inverter is determined by the rate at which the semiconductor devices are switched on and off. So how you are giving the pulses to the switches or turning on and off the devices, your inverter output voltage will have a frequency or an adjustable frequency. Now, from where the DC power is fed from, you can think it can be fed from a battery, can be fed from a fuel cell. All DC power sources, solar cells can be DC power input. Sometimes what happens in many industrial application, often your major supply is AC. Okay, we can convert that into DC and then go for DC to AC conversion. Because why we are doing this? Because we can control the level of voltage. Because you know, in power electronics, what major application is controlling the level of the output. So we go for AC to DC conversion by a rectifier, then again DC to AC conversion by an inverter. And this converter, where we are using both this inverter and a rectifier, is called a DC link converter, because this AC and AC input and AC output is linked by DC. So that's why it is called as DC link converter or a two-stage converter, because there is two-stage conversion, first AC to DC and then DC to AC. What are the major application? Variable speed AC drive. Suppose since the output of the inverter is AC and we are studying induction motor, we can, if we control the voltage supply to the in stator of the induction motor, our torque will change, our speed will change. So that's why the output of an inverter can be fed to a induction motor drive also. A UPS, there is inverter application. In home you have an inverter, there are battery vehicle drives. Wherever you need DC to AC conversion, you can use an inverter. Okay, these are some of the major applications of inverter written over there. Next, we'll go into classification of inverter. Like we had classified DC to DC converters, over here also we'll classify the inverters. Now, how we are classifying the inverter? First one is voltage source inverter. According to your input source, that means we have a supply voltage source. Now, current source inverter. What means a current source inverter means source is a giving constant current at the input. So we have a huge inductor at the source. So my input will be very constant, and a large current means large inductor means large current, and that will be constant. So that becomes a current source inverter. We'll study this VSI majorly, and next we'll study a simple circuit of CSI and understand what CSI is. Next, we can classify according to the wave shape of the output voltage. It can be a square wave inverter. We can have a pulse width modulated inverter. We can have a quasi square wave inverter. So mainly we will study about square wave inverter and pulse width modulated inverter in our lectures. And it can be classified according to commutations. Line commutated means according to the supply, it will be on and off. That means we are using thyristors over here. See, thyristor inverters are classified according to commutation. No other inverters are classified according to commutation. And another one is force commutated inverter, where external circuits are used to turn off the thyristors. And also due to connections, we can classify into series, parallel, and bridge inverters. Bridge inverters is mainly of a study over here: PSI, CSI, square wave, and PWM. So we'll start with our circuit discussion. And first of all is single phase half bridge VSI. Now, when we are calling it half bridge, that means our voltage is half over here. Okay, so our voltage is EDC by 2. This is also EDC by 2. Two voltage sources, EDC by 2. Now, why single phase? Because at the output we have AC, DC to AC. So across this load, we will get this V0 to be a AC voltage. Now, AC voltage can be two types. One is single phase, one is three phase. So first, what we are doing is studying about single phase half bridge VSI. Single phase because of your output voltage, which is single phase output. Half bridge because we are dividing the whole source into two equal halves, EDC by 2 and EDC by 2. Now these are the two switches, S1 and S2, which can be replaced by your MOSFET, BJT, IGBT, or a thyristor. And these two, D1 and D2, are your feedback diodes. Now, again, like in chopper, we had considered a particular direction of output voltage and current. Over here also we have considered that. So I0 should enter the load from the right and flow to the left. So I0 is right to left in the load. And since I0 enters in this direction, V0, this terminal will be positive, this terminal will be negative. Okay, so these are my positive polarities of your voltage and direction of currents. Anything apart from this polarity and direction will give negative voltage and negative current. Now let us discuss about the working of a half bridge VSI. We have different types of load, R and RL. We'll study according to this what will be our output voltage and generate some formulas. Now, okay, we'll go to this slide. So As studied earlier, there will be two modes. One switch 1 will be on, once it will be off. One switch S2 will be on, switch S2 will be off. So S1 on and off, S2 on and off. Okay, there are two modes for each switch. So according to the switch on and off, we generally classify our modes of operation. So let us think about a whole cycle of a sine wave. Positive half cycle is some part and negative half cycle is some part. So let the positive half cycle be 0 less than equal to t less than equal to t by 2. Think it is positive. No need to think about positive. Think that one half cycle is this one. 0 to t less 0 less than equal to t less than equal to t by 2. And the other half will be obviously t by 2 to t, because both are equal. So 0 to t by 2, this is t by 2 to t. Now first mode. In mode 1, what happens? My switch S1 is on. My switch S1 is on and we are talking the load to be resistive. So current starts flowing from this positive terminal. Goes in this direction, flows through the switch, goes through this load, back to this negative. This diode is on, this diode is off, this diode is also off, and this is open, so no current will flow through this part. So only upper part of this circuit remains. So that is what we have drawn over here. EDC by 2 from plus to S1 goes in this direction, this side, through the load back to minus. Now I0 is flowing in this direction. Since it is mode 1, we have named it as I0 1. Since current is entering in this direction, there will be a drop across the load. So this side will be plus, this side will be minus. Now if you compare your previous polarities over here, my I0 direction is from left to right. My I0 1 direction, sorry, right to left. My I0 1 direction is also from right to left. So I0 1 direction is this way and it is positive. V0 1 right hand side is positive, left hand side is negative. Compare with your main thing, right hand side positive, left hand side negative. So this V0 1 will give you plus. If you apply KVL, V0 1 will be EDC by 2. Now if you plot this EDC by 2, you will get this one. During this 0 to t by 2, what we is giving? EDC by 2. EDC by 2. I0 1 is positive. I0 1 is shown positive. Where is I0? Okay, load current over here is shown positive. Load current. Bolo, tell. Load current.
The EDC.
EDC. EDC supply. বুঝলাম না
মানে ওটা ইডিসি বাই 2 লেখার কি দরকার? ডাইরেক্ট আমি যেটা আমার দেওয়া সাপ্লাই দিতে হবে সেটাই আমি ইনপুটে দিতে পারি।
হ্যাঁ, সাপ্লাই তো আমি ইডিসি বাই 2 ই দিচ্ছি।
না মানে বলছি ইডিসি বাই 2 টা মনে করুন ইডাস্ট, তাহলে আমি ইডাস্ট দিয়ে দিতে পারি ডাইরেক্ট। ইডিসি বাই 2 লেখার কি দরকার?
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ সেটা তুমি করতে পারো, সে কোনো মানে এখানে বোঝানোর জন্য সব
মানে এটা একটা ভ্যালু, তো সেই ভ্যালুটা আমি ডাইরেক্ট দিতে পারি, বাই 2 করে লেখার দরকার থাকে।
নো প্রবলেম, নো প্রবলেম, ঠিক আছে। That's just for understanding. When you understand all this, you can write it in terms of value also. You use it E dash, V dash, whatever you want to use, you can use it. Load current is also positive. Okay, what will be load current? EDC by 2 divided by R, so EDC by 2R. This magnitude is EDC by 2R. Okay. Next, going into this slide. This S1 is off, so it is off. I am disconnecting it. This positive connected to negative, this will anyhow be off. Negative connected to this positive, this will anyhow be off. I am turning on my S2. Now if I turn on my S2, I'm just moving this all so that you don't get confused. If I turn on S2, this lower source acts as my supply. Current flows in this direction through the load. goes in direction to S2 and back to EDC/2 minus. So my lower part of the circuit remains, rest all is open. So we'll go in the circuit. So lower part of the circuit supply is there. Current flows in this direction. This is R through S2 back to EDC minus. Now you see your current direction I02 and I01. Both are opposite. So if I01 is positive, that means I02 will be negative, or you take your reference from the main figure, because this figure is over here. I'm taking this as my reference. So I02 is flowing from left to right, so it is treated as negative. V02 and V01 polarity has changed. If V01 is positive, that means V02 will be negative. So V02 will be minus EDC/2. So plotting this, you see T/2 to T, we have drawn EDC/2, that is minus EDC/2 over here, and load current as minus EDC/2. So positive, negative. Again cycle repeats, positive, negative, and goes on. So you are getting an AC waveform. After this, all filters are kept and made sine wave. That's not our discussion. We are just studying how DC is converted to AC using inverter circuits. Okay. So supply was DC constant. Supply was constant, one polarity voltage, but in your output you are having AC voltage, positive and negative. So we are getting AC voltage. Now, some source currents are also there, or switch currents, IS1, during this 0 to T/2, which is on S1. So obviously IS1 will flow during this time. And can I say IS1 is equal to I01? So IS1 is nothing but I01, which is this one. So is drawn over here. Okay. And what about the second one? IS2 is nothing but I02. So I02 is this one. IS2 is drawn the same way as this one. Can you tell me why this is negative and this is positive over here? Anyone? Load current is negative drawn over here, but IS2 is positive drawn over here. Why? But IS2 is I02, right? Anyone?
এখানে ভোল্টেজ টার্মিনাল দুটো ঘুরে যাচ্ছে বলে পোলারিটি দুটো
Polarity to change হচ্ছে, current direction ও change হচ্ছে, and since this direction we have considered positive, I02 will be negative. আচ্ছা, একটা diode, if I consider a diode, just simple thing, diode, what will be the current direction? Will be downward or topward? Top. Which one is correct? First one or second one? কোনটা ঠিক? First one. In a switch, always current flows in anode to cathode, means positive direction only. So in a switch, you can't represent the current as negative. So that means switch is off. Means negative current can't flow in a switch. So it can't be represented. So always IS2 should be represented as positive current. That's why it is represented positive over here. In switch, negative current can't flow. This one and
সিঙ্গেল সুইচের জন্যই
hmm?
সিঙ্গেল মানে ওয়ান সাইডেড যে সুইচ ফ্লো হবে কারেন্ট সেই সুইচগুলোর জন্যই পজিটিভ হবে
one sided unilateral যেগুলো unilateral device, all unilateral device. And we are talking about MOSFET, BJT, IGBT, thyristors, diode, all are unilateral device. So I'm keeping this up to you. You can find out what will be the voltage drop across switch. Easily you can find out. Now we are going into Fourier analysis of this voltage. So, okay, first we'll find out the average and RMS voltage, then we can go for Fourier analysis. Okay. This is a square wave. What will be the average value of this and RMS value? For a square wave, what is the average value and RMS value? Symmetrical square wave, huh? Not unsymmetrical. It is a symmetrical square wave. What will be the average and RMS value? Very easy. Tell first. Square wave RMS and average. Huh?
Average is 0.
Average 0 ki kore. If I take a sine wave, right? What we do? We take the average value of a half cycle, na? Full cycle average value 0. Symmetrical waveforms there, we take average value of half cycle. First thing first. Next thing, value is constant over the time period. So your average or RMS can't change. So it's fixed, EDC by 2 only. If you do the average and RMS value of any symmetrical waveform, square wave rather, so it will come out to be your magnitude only, maximum value. So if you do by normal method 1 by pi integration 0 to pi, or 1 by t by 2 integration 0 to t by 2, E naught omega t d omega t, so you will get EDC by 2 only. Or directly you can write down average value is EDC by 2. Similarly, if you calculate your RMS, you will get your EDC by 2. Okay. So generally you should remember form factor of your square wave is always 1. So E naught average and E naught RMS will always be equal and equal to the magnitude of the square. Okay, now what we are doing is applying Fourier analysis to calculate the harmonics. Okay. Now in later we will see this square wave is broke up into steps and all. The more you break up into steps, the more it comes to be the closer to your sine waves. So those are called multi-level inverters. Okay. So if there are 2 levels, it will be called as 2-level inverter. There is only 1 level over here, so this is single level inverter. So if I write the equation for your instantaneous output voltage, since at the output I should consider my voltage is coming as sine. So E naught omega t is nothing but Cn into sine omega t. Okay, since they are harmonic, sine n omega t plus phi n will depend upon whether your load is resistive or inductive, all this value, or you can calculate your an and bn and find out. Okay. Now, what is Cn in Fourier analysis? Root over an square plus bn square. What is phi n? Tan inverse an by bn. This is the general formula. Like you write now, V is equal to Vm sine omega t. What is Vm? Over here, Cn, the magnitude, and this is sine omega t. This waveform is having a square wave symmetry, a load voltage. So your An will be 0, and Bn, all even values of n will be 0. So we have to find out all for odd values of n. You can go through a Fourier analysis which you have done maybe in circuit theory or signal system anywhere. You will find all these things. For a square wave symmetry, n 0, and quarter wave symmetry, Bn is 0 for all even values of n. So Bn is 1 by pi 0 to 2 pi E naught omega t sine n omega t d omega t. Now if you simplify this, if you take 4 over here, this will be pi by 2 only. If you multiply 4 inside, it will be 2 pi. So it's a simplification just made in the integration. So we are taking the limit 0 to pi by 2. So between 0 to pi by 2, that is, this is 0, this is pi. Between 0 to pi by 2, what is my magnitude of the voltage? EDC by 2, half of this. So EDC by 2 only. So we are taking a magnitude E naught replaced by, next we'll replace this E naught omega t by EDC by 2 and do the integration. Sine n omega t can be broken up into minus cos n omega t by n. Do the integration, you will get this value 2 EDC by n pi. See, 2 cancels out there, that means this will be 2 by pi. EDC comes outside 2 EDC by pi, it will come sine n omega t. Integration, there will be a denominator n, so 2 EDC by n pi it will come out, and do the integration of this and you will find out all this. Sine, this will be pi by 2, sine 0 will be 0, sine pi by 2 will be 1. So in bracket it will be 1. So 2 EDC by n pi will be 1 for all values of n. What is Cn? Root over an square plus bn square. An is 0, bn is given. So obviously root an 0, so Cn will be equal to Bn, so 2 EDC by n pi. Phi n, tan inverse an by Bn. What is an? 0. So 0 by Bn, that will give you 0. So this is my Cn, this is my phi n calculated. Now substituting in this value, we know that this is my general expression. This is my general expression for your E naught omega t. Cn sin n omega t phi n. Now this I have taken 1 to infinity. This will be replaced by all odd numbers 1, 3, 5 to infinity. Cn we had already calculated by integration, that comes out to be 2 edc by n pi. 2 edc by n pi replaced over here. Phi n replaced by 0. So this becomes Cn sin n omega t. Now from here what important question comes is that this expression over here is nothing but Vm sin omega t. So this is the magnitude. You need to find out the RMS value, and since my output is sine, RMS value of a sine wave is Vm by root 2. So in order to find RMS value of nth harmonic component, so that is represented by E naught n RMS. N is nothing but 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 goes on. So 2 EDC by n pi divided by root 2, that gives you root 2 EDC by n pi. The n equal to 1 is called your fundamental component. So if you substitute n equal to 1, you will get root 2 EDC by pi. If you are told to find out third harmonic component, then you have to substitute n equal to 3. So that becomes root 2 EDC by 3 pi, and so goes on. The switch voltages and current ratings, VCO is EDC. This is your homework, I told you. See, switch maximum voltage is EDC. You just go through it, how EDC is coming. If you have doubt, find it at your home. If you have doubt, you ask. Okay. So VCO, if you take a switch, so collector emitter voltage, offset voltage. So EDC should be greater than equal to EDC, like as we had done in DC to DC converters. What will be the average value? IT average. You can do the integration over here and find out, since it is from 0 to t by 2. There are 2 comes. So this is EDC by 2R, right? Load current is EDC by 2R. If you integrate it 1 by t integration 0 to t by 2. So there is a 2 coming up over there. So EDC by 2R into 2, that gives you EDC by 4R. Do this integration and find out how much the average value is coming. Or you can simply think it like this, because 1 by t integration 0 to t EDC by 2R dt. So anyhow tt cancels out. So 2 comes in the denominator because of t by 2. So 2 into 2 gives you 4R. So EDC by 4R. Okay, RMS value EDC by 2 root 2R, 2 by this. What will be the peak value? That is my maximum value. You can see from here only, this magnitude is nothing but EDC by 2R. So peak value is EDC by 2R. If you know your peak value, you can divide it by root 2. So EDC by 2 root 2R will give you RMS. No need to go by integration method. Whichever you want to, like many things, by many ways you can calculate distance. You can go by normal integration method. You can think of the peak value divided by root. That will give you your RMS value. Next, RL load operation. What happens in RL? Same type of operation. Now, since the inductors are charge storing elements, this inductors over here in the load has to discharge. So there is the function of this diode. So inductor discharges through the diode and charges through the switches. Always I told you, you should remember, if a switch is connected, that means it charges. If a diode is connected, that means it discharges. This should be the concept in power electronics for any circuit. You can apply in any circuit. In DC to DC converter also we had applied this. Technique. So we'll go to RL load. Okay, in case of any doubt, you just ask me in between also, no problem. In case of RL load, first mode is T1 to T2. That means we are studying this T1 to T2. So what happens during this mode? Switch S1 is on. So switch S1 is on. So current flows from this positive through S1, goes through this inductive load and to this negative. So I01 is from right to left, so it is positive. Since I01 is flowing in this direction, this terminal will be positive, this will be negative for V01. And if right side is positive, left side is negative, then V01 will be positive. So V01 is equal to EDC by 2 positive. So positive current, positive voltage, magnitude of the voltage will be EDC by 2 and magnitude of the current will be EDC by 2 square root of R square plus omega L square, because there's a inductive load over here. So see over here, positive voltage EDC by 2. During this time switch is connected, so it is charging. So I01 is positive and increasing. So it is increasing and in the positive direction, T1 to T2. Now T2 to T3, it has to discharge. Now I'm just going to the main slide. Now this side is positive, this one is off, this one is off. Okay, this side was positive, this side is negative. Now inductor is discharging. Current direction will be same, polarity across the load changes. Now in order to maintain the same direction of current, which diode should be on? Is it D1 or D2? Anyone? Which diode should be on? To maintain the current in this direction, which diode should be on? After this, where it will go? D1 or D2?
D1.
D1 কোথায় আছে? D1 কোথায় আছে? D2. D2. It will go through D2 and go in this direction. Polarity of this load has changed. The load is acting as my source. We have to take care of this polarity. Minus connected to plus. This is off. Minus connected to minus. This will be automatically on. Or if you don't understand the polarity, in order to maintain this direction current, obviously the lower source and this D2 should be on. So D2 should be on. So one thing you remember, I'll not come to this slide again and again. One thing you remember, if S1 is on, discharge will be through D2, opposite. If S2 is on, discharge will be through D1. You should remember this. Like in class E chopper, recall the facts of class E chopper. Everything same. So it will discharge through D2. Now I02 is maintained in the same direction as I01, positive. Voltage polarity has changed of V02, so V02 is negative. So which mode it is? T2 to T3. See, T2 to T3, voltage is negative, right? But current will be positive and discharging. Current is positive and discharging. Okay. Now during this period, which current flows? Only S1 current flows. So during this mode, only S1 is flowing. It should be linear, okay, because this current is taken as linear. And during this period, which current flows? ID2. So during T2 to T3, which current flows? ID2. All rest are zero. See, rest are zero. Rest are zero. All linear current. Don't show like this. Show linear current, because this graph is shown linear. If you show exponential over here, show this exponential. I hope everybody has understood these two modes. Next we'll go to mode 3 in T3 to T4. During this T3 to T4, what happens? Switch S2 is on. Now inductor charges. Which direction? This direction. I03 becomes opposite, so negative. I03 flows in this direction. V03 also opposes, changes its polarity. So V03 also becomes negative. So current negative, voltage negative, but current is charging. So charging in the negative direction increase. Voltage is negative during this period. So T3 to T4, it is negative. It has to discharge through with diode D1. Just now I told you. So D1 is on. That means the upper part of the circuit is on. Voltage polarity changes. This side becomes plus. See, this side has become plus. So obviously D1 will be on. So this will be my circuit. If you see the current direction, I4 and I3 same. So if I3 is negative, I4 will also be negative. But it is discharging, so it will decrease. V4 has changed its polarity compared to V3. So V4 will be positive. See, V4 is nothing but this region over here. Or you can say before T1, this region, EDC by 2. So current is negative, voltage is positive. Voltage positive, current negative. This is how your operation is done. Any problem up to this, you can tell me. Operation of R and RL load. Because tomorrow I'll be taking full converter. I'll do it very fast, because I think if you understand this one, that will be very easy for you. For R load, there will be two mode of operation. How to compare? For R load, there will be two mode of operation, because there is no use of diode. as there is no need to discharge. For RL load, there is case of discharging, so it will charge through switch, then it will discharge through diode, again it will charge through switch, then it will discharge through diode. These are 4 modes for RL load, 2 modes for R load. Now circuit equation, because generally we tell you to find out current over here, so if you write the current over here, so that will be 2 EDC by N pi, because we had already calculated this over here. 2 EDC by N pi is your voltage, right? Since it is a half bridge converter, voltage will be same. 2 EDC by N pi over here. Since it is current divided by the impedance, root over R square plus N omega L square. N will change because there is omega over here 2 pi f. According to your change of harmonics, your frequency will change. That's why N is included over here. If L was independent of frequency, we could have removed N. Sin N omega t minus theta n. What is theta n over here? Because there will be a lead and lag over here. So theta n will be tan inverse N omega L by R. B by A. This is my B, A plus JB. So tan inverse B by A. Since it is an inductive load, it will lag. So minus theta. What will be the power? E1 RMS, I1 RMS into cos theta 1. If I am telling you to find out fundamental power, all N over here will be replaced by 1. I'll take the magnitude only. And RMS value. So if this is my magnitude of my current, I have to divide this by root 2. So 2 EDC by pi root over this one divided by root 2. Okay, so 2 EDC by pi root over R square plus N replaced by 1 omega L whole square divided by root 2. That give you your I1 RMS. What will be theta 1? Theta 1 will be tan inverse N replaced by 1 omega L by R written over here. So you can find out cos theta 1 from here. And then substitute it over here and you will get your P1 RMS. Substitute this I1 RMS over here, or you can write I1 square RMS square, I1 square RMS into R, I square R. So this square into R will give you your P1 RMS. Or you can write P1, E1 in terms of I1. Then you can substitute your cos theta 1 and find out this value. Okay. So very important, RL load, generally we tend to find out current. So this is current equation we need. Voltages are same, so we have used my maximum value as 2 EDC by N pi since it is a half bridge VSI, and then we have made the following calculations. A very common fault that occurs is a cross conduction fault or shoot through fault. You just go through this slide. Okay, I'll just explain from here directly. See. I'll just go from here directly, you can understand. See from here. Now, this over here, S1 is on. This over here is S2 is. As soon as S1 goes off over here, S2 is on. By chance, if S1 is on for some microseconds more, because you are giving a turning off circuit for a thyristor, you are using a commutation circuit. If that commutation circuit has some delay, so it will remain on for some certain more period. So at one moment of time, S1 and S2 will be on. So if this both are on, this will short circuit my source. So it will be my root. And if you short circuit my source, there will be a huge circulating current flowing through this circuit. So both switches may be on at the same moment. If there is proper turn off is not done for S1 and proper turning on is not done for S2, because at the same moment over here, one is going off, one is going on. So if by chance the other switch which is going off remains on at the same instant, then there will be short circuiting of the source. We have to take care of it. That's why we don't go for this methods, we go for PWM. Okay, we'll go study later what is that, because there is major chances of having shoot through faults or cross conduction fault. All this what I have told is broadly written over here. Please go through these 3 points. Lastly, we'll discuss a problem in 5 minutes. So what is the problem over here? We are taking a half bridge inverter, since we have studied half bridge inverter. Resistive load of 10 ohm, center tap DC voltage of 96. Remember, when the word center tap DC voltage is used, That means it is your voltage source EDC by 2 directly given in question.
half হয়ে যাবে source টা।
And don't do, because it is a half inverter, while calculation don't do 96 by 2, that comes out to be 48 volt. This is wrong. Your RMS value was EDC by 2, 96 volt. This is directly given 96 volt because it is stated center tap voltage. If it is given like this, if you remove this word, if it is given direct DC input voltage of 96, then you calculate ERMS is equal to 96 by 2, that is 48. Please take care of this. Everyone should take care of this. So then normal things, E0 RMS is EDC by 2, 96. E0 1 RMS was root 2 EDC by n pi, because we are substituting n as 1 fundamental component we have asked, so n is 1 over here, so we have substituted over here, so root 2 by pi. What is EDC over here? EDC is over here 96 into 2, so that's why over here I have used 96 into 2. Calculate it, you will get 86.4. Now E3 RMS, if you see your E3 RMS, root 2 EDC by n pi, right? 3 pi. Now root 2 EDC by pi is nothing but what? E0 1. So this is nothing but E0 1 RMS. So again and again you don't have to calculate root 2 EDC by pi. It is already calculated by you E0 1 RMS. So use this value only divided by n. So basically our formula is E0 1 RMS by n. So E0 1 RMS by 3, you get your value. Next slide, E0 1 RMS by 5, get your value. E0 1 RMS by 7, get your value. In your question it is said first 5 harmonics. First one is called fundamental, so harmonic starts from 3. So 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 divided by 11. So 86.4 divided by 11, 7.85, and this goes on. So first 5 harmonics, 3 to 11. If you are first 7 harmonics, then E13. Okay. Next, what is told? Fundamental power consumed. What is fundamental power consumed? Fundamental power consumed means fundamental voltage. What is my fundamental RMS voltage? 86.4 volt. So 86.4 square by R. RMS power we always find out. So RMS volt V square by R. So V naught RMS square by R. Now RMS power consumed. What is my RMS power? RMS value is 96. So 96 square by 10 is 921 watt. Now this is my actual RMS value of my voltage. You can, this is by integration method, right? Integration method, because if you go to previous slides, this one, this RMS value or average value, how we have found out? By integration, right? We have done integration and found out. So this value EDC by 2, this value EDC by 2, that is equal to 96, is by integration method. How do we find? By harmonic summation method. We find all the harmonics, all the harmonics found out in C, we do square root of that. E0 1 square, E0 5 3 square, 5 square, 7 square, 9 square, 11. As you go on increasing your harmonics order, this value which has come out to be 94.34 comes out to be closer to 96. You go on adding 13, 15, 17, 19, go on adding, this 94.34 goes on coming close to be 96 volts. So this method of finding RMS value is by harmonic summation method, and this method EDC by 2 direct formula is by integration method. So today up to this we have explained the half bridge inverter VSI. Because it is a voltage source inverter, we have applied a voltage source over there in the supply, and we have discussed with R and RL load and one problem related to that. Tomorrow's class will discuss full bridge converter and some other topics. If up to this, if you have any doubt, you can ask. অপারেশনে কারোর কিছু বুঝতে অসুবিধা হয়েছে? আর এর লোড, দেখো চপার বুঝতে পারলে এটা বোঝা সুবিধা, ওর জন্য আমি চপারটা আগে করিয়ে নিয়েছি। কারণ চপার যদি একবার গ্রাসে চলে আসে, এই সার্কিট গুলো সেম। ফুল ব্রিজ ইনভার্টারটা দেখবে ক্লাস ই চপার, ফুল ব্রিজ ইনভার্টারটা কালকে যেটা করবো ক্লাস ই চপারের সার্কিট, একই অপারেশন, ওর জন্য বুঝতে অনেক সুবিধা হবে। কিচ্ছু না, সুইচটা একবার অন হবে একটা সার্কিট, সুইচটা একবার অফ হবে একটা সার্কিট। আর লোড হলে সুইচ অন অফ হবে, আর আর এর লোড হবে, সুইচ অন হবে তারপর অফ হবে, দিয়ে ডায়োড দিয়ে ডিসচার্জ করবে, তারপর আবার সুইচ অন হবে অফ হবে, ডায়োড দিয়ে ডিসচার্জ করবে। আর এর লোডে 4টে মোড, আর লোডে বলো বলো।
সামটাতে বলছিলাম সেন্টারটা বলা থাকলে কি এটা আমাদের ধরেই নিতে হবে যে ইডিসি বাই 2 করেই ভ্যালুটা দেওয়া রয়েছে, যেটা ওই 96 ভ্যালুটা?
একদম। সেন্টার ট্যাপ ডিসি ভোল্টেজ মানে কি, একটা সেন্টার ট্যাপ ভোল্টেজ মানে ইডিসি বাই 2 ডাইরেক্ট দেওয়া আছে। ইফ ইট ইজ টোল্ড দ্যাট অনলি ডিসি ইনপুট ভোল্টেজ, তাহলে তুমি এটা 96 ধরতে পারো। দিস ইজ 96 ডিভাইডেড বাই 2 ইকুয়াল টু 48। কিন্তু এখানে ডাইরেক্ট সেন্টার ট্যাপ বলে দেওয়া হয়েছে, ওর জন্য এটা 96 বাই 2 মানে হচ্ছে ইডিসি বাই 2। ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, চলো তাহলে যদি ডাউট না থাকে তাহলে রাখো।